Hello everyone. Alright, so I'm going to demonstrate this project, which is you're going to create a silhouette, a very strong contrast, very dark, and a few light areas uh, of an animal. And before, you've been using line to define the shape of objects and things. So this one, what you're going to do is the theme is animals. So you're going to choose an animal from online, and I want you to draw the animal. And I'm going to demonstrate. I chose a giraffe, and I want you to make the giraffe only one animal per page, and you can turn your paper horizontal or vertical. It's up to you, depending on the animal you choose. And I want you to make your animal drawing at least 5 by 7. Okay, so it's about this size, so it's not tiny. It just shows that you're putting time into developing the shape and the form. And once you find your animal, you're going to look at it. You're going to draw it out 5 by 7. And this project is not about showing lots of different shading techniques. It's really just about light and dark areas, high contrast areas. And the goal of this is for you to kind of experience shape and form, not just using line, but light and dark areas define the shape and the form. Okay. So I'm going to start off. I'm going to look at, I have the giraffe on my screen, my laptop, and I'm going to sketch it out. And some of the things we've learned so far with basic shapes. Uh, I'm going to draw a circle for the main part of the giraffe. And then I'm going to draw like a triangle just to start off with. It kind of looks like a bird right now, but I'm just starting off with basic shapes. I'm going to start off with a triangle up here for the horns, whatever you call those things on giraffes. Oh god, it doesn't even look like a giraffe. It looks like a Pokemon character, but but this is just the beginning. This is kind of like the structure. So here's the neck. Here's the neck of the giraffe. Okay, so very stiff and very kind of angular. But now I'm going to go in and I'm going to follow kind of like the path of the giraffe. And here's the really thin mane on the giraffe. And as it goes up, there's a little bump and ridge at the back of the ears. Okay, and then here's the horns. It kind of curves up. And I'm going to, and it also has like some hair or fur up there at the top. It's kind of thatched and very bristly. And then I'm going to follow the contour, get the shape of this, and really pay attention to the contour, the edge of this animal. And just for fun, I was saying, try to choose an animal maybe represents your personality. Uh, you can develop a logo later on from this drawing. Now I'm going to follow along the ridge of the temple, the brow, and then it kind of dips up and down and then up again. So there's a skeleton underneath there, and then this is the tough part. This is where the nose part is, and I think the snout. And anyone that's drawn like horses, this is not easy. And then here's the front lip of the giraffe. Okay, so and then underneath you have the bottom lip. It's kind of like an almond shape, and you notice it just the contour it just dips and it goes up, and then there's a muscle here where part of the skeleton kind of dips again. And then it connects to the neck. Now the bottom of the neck kind of undulates down, curves down a little bit. And I'm going to draw a few shapes within the giraffe, which are, I think it's important to put in there just because um, the eyes are very important. So where are the eyes in this one right here? So I'm going to draw kind of a leaf-like almond shape for the eyes. Really beautiful eyes here. And then just a simple shape for the eye there. Good. And then for the ear, I'm going to draw part of the ear here. That ear is so distinctive. Wow, it's like it's what they use to flick around, listen for predators. Here's the shape of the ear right here. And then the nose. There's like a nostril right at the tip here. I want to draw that shape right there. I'm going to make it a little bit bolder. So these three areas here, 1, 2, and 3, I'm going to leave white. Okay, so that's these three areas, they will not be shaded in, but everything else I'm going to shade in. And how do I shade it in, guys? There's different techniques. I want to show you two techniques. For the head, I'm just going to use circles. And I wouldn't recommend using mechanical pencil. This could take a long time. If you have like a 2B is fine. I have a 5B pencil, which is really dark and gets a lot of good coverage. And so I'm just going to do concentric kind of circles layered on top. And you see how it's getting nice and even and dark? That's what we want. We want a nice, even, dark surface. We don't want so much texture, or it's really about the shape and not so much about the what do you call it? The lights and darks. We'll get there later. We're just building your skills and understanding how to capture different shapes and forms, and to see proportions on different subjects. So have patience. It's hard to rush this, but kind of stop every once in a while, just kind of look at it. And you notice I'm staying away from the eyeball. I really want to keep that pure, just the negative space of the white of the paper. So it's going to be very high contrast. And notice how I'm careful. I don't want to get rid of all those nice details of the edge of the giraffe, the contours. And now the shape is being defined by not just line separating the shape and the form, but it's defined by light and dark. Just two values, light and dark. That's my goal, just two values. I want to even it out so that there is no variations within the gray. And oh gosh, look at that, press too hard. Just lessen the pressure a little bit. Sometimes you can use instead of using your wrist all the time, you can use your shoulder if that helps to alleviate any tension that you might have. So you don't smudge over the paper or your artwork, you can put a piece of paper down and lay your palm of your hand so it doesn't get all smudgy. Wow, this 5B really helps out a lot. But I think you can do this with a 2B as well. So I'm laying down just one coverage, one layer here. Now remember, this is, let's see, for this giraffe, you know what? I'm going to put in a few spots here. Let's see, here, 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 here. There you go. So those I will keep reversed out as well. So we're going to stick with the circle technique. Smaller circles for detail, and then bigger circles for larger areas. I'm just going to make this completely dark, except for the ear, the eyes, and those spots. And you really have to have patience because it's just not going to happen right away. You have to kind of carve away, fill in the shapes and forms. I want you to really bring out the the edge of the shape, this animal. Remember that nostril there? We're going to keep that white. As I get to the contours, I don't want to simplify too much. I want to really make sure that it defines the edge of this animal. Okay. Big, chunky black and white areas. And why is this important? Well, some of you are, I know you're really good with shading. Some of you have been doing this for a while, but there's a benefit to keeping some things just high contrast. Do you know what those are? You know, where do you see high contrast designs? You see them on posters, logos, you see them on signage because they're easy to see. So sometimes if you have too much detail in terms of shading, it might not really stand out. So you're seeing the giraffe emerge from the paper, not just with line, but actually now it's like with lights and darks. Look at that, I'm just creating circles, 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 and not just mindlessly doing circles, but you know, like making sure I color in the boundaries of the lines of the kind of like your coloring book in a way, but we're using pencil rather than colors. I'm working fairly fast here, and you can take your time a little bit, slow down a little bit more. I've done this before many times. Every once in a while, you want to stop and kind of look at what you're doing, and look at that. The circle technique is really easy. Just no stress at all. And if you see some areas that are too light and too dark, just go ahead and go back over it with that circle technique, and that'll help it go to the max darkness that it can get to. I'm really happy with this so far. I think it's pretty cool looking. It's got the silhouette, the sharpness. Now down here in this area, I want to show you another technique. Okay, so I'm going to place the cover sheet, protective sheet on top. Now watch this. You know, I might want to sharpen this. I take a sharpener. I'm going to sharpen the pencil a little bit more. Watch your hand if you're using a X-Acto blade. It's very sharp. Just take your time, whittle away. I like to get a big chunky piece of graphite at the end. Okay, so now if you observe here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in just like a 45-degree angle for the majority of this shape up here. And you know, I've been doing this for a while, so it's like it's going pretty much 45-degree angles. I'm slowly getting darker, and I'm staying away from those spots that I want to keep, right? So this is my first layer with the 45-degree angle kind of hatching lines, and I really don't care about, I don't really want a whole lot of variations within the gray. I actually want more light and dark like we have in the upper part. You want to tape down a corner of your paper so it doesn't move, or hold it down with your left hand. All right, so we got our first layer down, but it's not that dark. How do we get it darker here? So I'm going to rotate the paper, and I'm going to draw on this from a different angle. So you have two techniques here, the straight lines kind of cross-hatching, overlapping, different directions, then that makes it darker. Or you can do those little circles. And this takes patience and some time and effort to really craft and carve out the shape of your animal that you choose, whether it's a octopus or tiger or sheep or snake or whatever animal you choose. And you're gonna be doing, I think, several of these. So look at the instructions, and I'm just showing you the technique for one of these, but you might be doing several of these for the assignment. So look at that. Each different angle that I go over this with, it gets darker and darker. And as you get to the details, that's when you slow down and you want to do a better job. You don't be sloppy with this and have some strange marks here and there. You want to kind of slow down. And I'm going to do a little technique here. I'm going to do some curved lines here just so that it follows the curves of the spots. And I think the spots are really cool because it really brings out the character, how we recognize the giraffe. 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 So you see as I keep working the shape and the form. Now what happens if you went too dark in an area or you went beyond your boundaries? Well, just stop and take a eraser and see if you can erase that point. My goal here now is to get rid of the spottiness, little areas of light that I just want to make it just a really rich dark area. What do you guys think? How's it look so far? Do you have any questions? Yeah, shoot me any questions in the Canvas messaging if you have any. Look at that high contrast. And I'm going to go back with the 2B pencil a little bit later. Solid areas of dark areas. Now these spots I'm taking more time with because it creates more work and detail for me. So you don't want to put too many like negative shapes within your object. I would say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Maybe no more than 8. I have 8 approximately here. You could do like 5. I think 5 would be good. Just parts of the animal that you want it to stand out, like the eyes, the scales of the fish maybe, but the goal is, you notice I'm just slowing down a little bit. And you can do a combination of techniques. Trying to get rid of all these inconsistent little gray areas. I just want it to be strong dark. So this graphite is being applied to the surface of the paper, and really like the contours. Does it look like a giraffe? Let me know. Let me know in the chat. Okay, so now I'm done with my 5B for right now. So I'm going to go back to like a 2B, just a regular pencil, and now I'm going to go back and just kind of make those a little bit bigger shapes, and not bigger shapes, but just simplify some of the smaller, tiny little details. The edge, go back and clean that up a little bit. If you want to make the little variations here and there, like I'm going to just go with my own kind of inclination. Like I changed the size of some of the parts here. Slow down, just kind of really edge out, sharpen the contour. Get rid of those little idiosyncratic little areas of light that are popping through, the grays. I want it to be as kind of solid as possible, I'm not going to obsess over it, but just try your best to be neat. It's just that level of attention to detail really helps to focus more on the lights and darks rather than, it's not about shadow or variations of gray. It's really about light and dark areas. And I want to go back here and make sure this hair texture is pretty chunky and solid and detailed out. Just a contour. Okay. We're almost done. I'm just going back, final cleanup of the edge. Transitions from one shape. I didn't overly simplify the edge of this giraffe. Yeah, I want you to use pencils for this one, guys. I don't want you to use marker or pen or ink or anything like that. Really just kind of go through the process of describing these textures and these shapes within the form. Almost done. So this is one demonstration. What do you think? Did you like this demonstration? Was it helpful to see the process and instead of just the written instructions? I hope you enjoyed it. I enjoyed this. This was good. Now I'm going to wrap it up with taking the eraser, kind of going back around the animal. Very neat. I don't have it like extraneous, messy like areas outside. Very graphic and very iconic. You can see it from far away. And I will just kind of brush this off. I like to take a very light tissue or maybe a brush. Just kind of whisk away the, I don't want to blend in anything. I just want to get rid of those eraser, remains of the eraser. Just take your time. God, these erasers are a pain. Oh my God. Okay. There is this thing called fixative. It's a spray can full of fixative chemical that you can apply to your drawings to make sure things don't move around. But I don't really like it that much because I don't think it's safe to breathe in. Definitely make sure you do it outside or in a well-ventilated area. Not good for your lungs. So I forgot I even mentioned it. Jeez. All right. God. All right. What do you guys think? Does that look like a giraffe? I hope it does. I think the neck helps and this little detail of the patterning on the coat of the giraffe. I think the neck kind of tells you it's a giraffe, a long neck. Now, if we add color later on, or I could put details in the background, that's fine. But for this assignment, it's really about isolating the shape and the form of this giraffe. Okay? So I'm going to end this video. Have fun and try your best and try to be as neat and remember the key points. Okay? Contrasting, strong lights and darks. It's not about different grays. It's about solid technique of applying the graphite so it's really dark, and also pulling out some whiter, reversed out white areas within the animal or the shape itself. Gosh, if you really had a lot of time on your hand, you could actually darken in the outside of the giraffe and make the giraffe like a negative. The giraffe would be white, the eye would be black, and the ear would be black. So it's kind of like the opposite coloring, the values for this giraffe. But that takes a lot of time and it's very time consuming. So that's just an option if you like. So we are done. Okay, let me stop the